An intense cold covered the dark and last evening of the old year. Walking in the street, a little girl passed, shivering with cold.
I walked the dark night with my feet and my head undressed. When I left my house, I broke shoes, but running to cross the street, avoiding two cars that were rolling along at a terrible rate, I lost them. My feet were almost blue and red because of the snow. I was scared. I had to sell a number of matches to bring coins to my father, otherwise he would mistreat me.
The poor girl lived under a roof through which the wind howled, although the large holes had been stopped up with straw and rocks. Her little hands were almost frozen with the cold.
How I wish to burn a match so I can get my hands a little warm. If I could draw it from the bundle and strike it against the wall just to warm my fingers.
She drew one out. How it sputtered as it burned. It gave a warm light like a little candle as she held her hand over it. It was really a wonderful light. It seemed to the little girl that she was sitting by a large iron stove with polished brass feet and brass ornament. How the fire burned and seemed so beautifully warm that the child stretched out her feet as if to warm them when the flame of the match went out. The stove vanished, and she had only the remains of half-burned match in her hand. She rubbed another match on the wall. It burned into a flame, and where its light fell upon the wall, it became as transparent as a veil, and she could see into the room.
I saw that table was covered with a snowy white tablecloth, on which stood a splendid dinner service and a steaming roast goose, stuffed with apples and dried plums. And what was still more wonderful, the goose jumped down from the dish and waddled across the floor, with a knife and a fork in its breast, in front of me.
Then the match went out, and then remained nothing but the thick, damp, cold wall behind her.
I lit again another match, appreciating intangible moments.
The Christmas lights rose higher and higher, till they looked to her like the stars in the sky. Then she saw a star fall, leaving behind it a bright streak of fire. Someone is dying, thought the little girl, for her old grandmother, the only one who had ever loved her, and who was now dead, had told her that when a star falls, a soul was going up to God.
She again rubbed a match on the wall, and the light shone round her. In the brightness stood her old grandmother, clear and shining, yet mild and loving in her appearance.
Grandmother, take me with you, please. I know you will go away when the match burns out. You will vanish like the warm stove, the roast goose, and the large, glorious Christmas tree.
And she made haste to light the whole bundle of matches, for she wished to keep her grandmother there. And the matches glowed with a light that was brighter than the noonday, and her grandmother had never appeared so large or so beautiful. She took the little girl in her arms, and they both flew upward in brightness and joy far above the earth, where there was neither cold, nor hunger, nor pain, for they were with God. In the dawn of morning there lay the poor little one, with pale cheeks and a smiling mouth, leaning against the wall. She had been frozen to death on the last evening of the year, and the New Year's sun rose and shone upon a little corpse. The child still sat in the stillness of death, holding the matches in her hand, one bundle of which was burned.
She tried to warm herself, say some.
No one imagined what beautiful things she had seen, nor into what glory she had entered with her grandmother on New Year's Day.